Hey everyone, welcome back to another update. Today we're recapping Thursday, February 12th and Friday, February 13th, a pivotal 48 hours that delivered the long anticipated partial DHS shutdown, the formal end to the controversial Minnesota immigration surge, fresh heat on the Epstein files, and more maneuvering on Iran. Let's dive in. The big story hit at midnight Friday into Saturday. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security officially lapsed after Senate Democrats blocked short term extensions and Republicans failed to secure a deal without major concessions. Congress left town for recess with no resolution, triggering the third partial government shutdown of Trump's second term, this one limited to DHS. Large portions of the department went into furlough or essential operations only mode. TSA screenings, Coast Guard missions, FEMA disaster response, and CISA cybersecurity work faced immediate disruptions, though many employees were deemed essential and worked unpaid. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Customs and Border Protection were largely shielded thanks to separate multi-year funding from last summer's One Big Beautiful Bill, so deportations and border ops continued mostly uninterrupted. Democrats framed the lapse as necessary leverage after months of backlash over ICE tactics, especially the fatal shootings of two U.S. citizens in Minneapolis. Republicans, including House Homeland Security and Appropriations leaders, slammed Democrats for risking safety and security and blamed them for the impasse. President Trump called Democrats crazy and stayed non-committal on concessions, while the White House signaled talks could resume post-recess. This shutdown, potentially lasting days to weeks, tests both sides' resolve ahead of midterms. Democrats betting public frustration with enforcement gives them edge, Republicans hoping to portray opponents as soft on security. On to the conclusion of Operation Metro Surge. Border Czar Tom Homan announced Thursday that the months-long Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota, deploying thousands of federal agents, was winding down and effectively concluding. The administration touted removing thousands of individuals with criminal records as a success, and Homan revealed 3,300 missing migrant children were located. A witness confirmed that $60 million in dark money, including Soros funds, went to 14 groups to fund the Minneapolis anti-ICE riots. But in good news, Homan said violent activity against ICE and border agents has plummeted. He also dispelled false claims by revealing no arrests were made inside schools or hospitals and said that special agents are staying on the ground to continue investigating fraud. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey expressed cautious relief, noting the operation's end after mass protests, thousands of arrests, and the two citizen deaths that sparked nationwide outrage. Local leaders and Democrats hailed it as a partial win from sustained pressure. Critics on the right called it a premature retreat. The drawdown ties directly into the DHS funding fight. Democrats used the incidents to demand reforms like unmasking agents, warrants in sensitive cases, and better coordination. This marks a tangible course correction on immigration enforcement after weeks of escalation. Switching to the House Judiciary hearing. Attorney General Pam Bondi faced a fiery House Judiciary Committee hearing Thursday, defending the Justice Department's handling of Jeffrey Epstein files amid bipartisan scrutiny. She clashed sharply with Democrats, shouting at times and positioning herself as Trump's staunch protector while deflecting questions on redactions, Ghislaine Maxwell's Fifth Amendment invocation, and clemency discussions. The session amplified global fallout from the unredacted releases, resignations, and legal threats worldwide, while keeping pressure on figures with past Epstein ties. Bondi's combative tone underscored the administration's defensive posture on the issue. Let's shift our focus to Iran. Diplomacy remained active. Trump confirmed the USS Gerald R. Ford, a second carrier, would head to the Middle East very soon to back negotiations. He reiterated demands for Iran to address nuclear enrichment, ballistic missiles, proxies, and human rights, or face very traumatic consequences. Iran's foreign minister called the February 6th Oman talks a good start, with more expected soon, possibly this week. Iranian officials drew a red line on missiles, but hinted flexibility on uranium if sanctions lift fully. Trump's team, including Witkoff and Kushner, insist any deal must be comprehensive. This military diplomatic pressure builds amid regional tensions post-New START expiration. Now it's time for the noteworthy tidbits, which are brought to you today by Zevo Life. Let me tell you about them quick. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant, packed with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Harnessing the best nature has to offer, Zevo Life nourishes your body while driving your performance, vitality, and overall well-being. Each serving is a concentrated source of clean, well-balanced nutrition designed to support modern lifestyles, and just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. It's no wonder that it's receiving rave 5-star reviews. Step into a healthier future with a 30% discount and a 30-day risk-free guarantee by visiting zivo.life and using my promo code. To support my show and to receive 30% off your entire order, enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. All right, let's get back to the tidbits. It was discovered that Fulton County, Georgia has a 115% voter registration rate, meaning for every 100 eligible voters, there are 115 people registered to vote there, and citizen journalist David Kate found 19 people registered to vote at an abandoned home. President Trump announced he will sign an executive order mandating voter ID nationwide for the 2026 midterms if the Save America Act fails. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a Texas law that criminalizes ballot harvesting. Stephen A. Smith is considering running for president as a Democrat in 2028. President Trump and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin are ending key greenhouse gas emission regulations, a move that is set to save Americans $1.3 trillion. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins revealed school lunches will soon be purged of low-quality foods. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey was caught hiding SNAP benefit information from the Trump administration. President Trump made more judicial nominees. A federal judge blocked War Secretary Pete Hegseth from disciplining or demoting Senator Mark Kelly after he urged military rebellion in what's being called the sedition video, and Hegseth is appealing that ruling. While visiting Fort Bragg, President Trump told the troops he's surging billions of dollars to improve on-base housing. President Trump's $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC for deceptively editing his January 6th speech will begin in February 2027. House Republicans are pushing to pass legislation to cut off the funders of anti-ICE rioters through RICO, and the U.S. Senate is moving to criminalize sanctuary city mayors and governors. Don Lemon and others involved in harassing worshipers in a Minnesota church were arraigned in court for conspiracy to deprive rights, and Lemon and 4 others pleaded not guilty. The Trump administration terminated temporary protected status for Yemen migrants. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced the seizure of 1.7 billion lethal doses of narcotics. The Department of Justice charged a CBP supervisor with harboring an illegal alien, maintaining a romantic relationship with her. Secretary of State Marco Rubio flagged the Code Pink group as a vector of Chinese influence operations. ICE is preparing to make nearly $40 billion in warehouse purchases nationwide to surge deportation hubs. The Small Business Administration banned non-citizens from getting SBA loans effective March 1st. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is offering rewards for whistleblowers who expose fraud and other felony theft from taxpayers. The Mexican Senate voted to allow 19 members of the United States SEAL Team 2 to train Mexican special forces in the battle against the cartels at the request of Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, starting in April. Lastly, President Trump confirmed he's awarding the Congressional Medal of Honor to an American warrior who was involved in the capture of Maduro. That's all I have for today. The DHS shutdown is now reality, Minnesota ops are wrapping, Epstein scrutiny lingers, and Iran talks hang in the balance. How long will the lapse last, and what concessions, if any, will break it? Drop your thoughts on Instagram or X at Shades of Jade Pod. If these 2-day catch-ups are hitting the spot, subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.